Have you been experiencing a huge shift in your masculine or your feminine energies from within, feeling like you're all toppled over and trying to find balance and how to navigate this journey in a new way because you've stepped maybe more into your femininity? Stay tuned because I'm going to share with you how to bring balance to these inner counterpart templates and how that harmonizes with your twin flame dynamic. Hello, fellow flames. In case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony, and I will help you live fearless, live loved, and live free. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so when you know all that my videos and content come live. I want to thank all of you for your love, your support during my transition of rebounding and recharging from COVID, and I'd hit another little slump through all of the energy releases we've had, and I've been finding more balance within myself, and I'm seeing that more within my clients, more in the collective, and also within the twin flame counterparts. So today I want to talk to you about the twin flame divine masculine and divine feminine balance both within and also in the counterpart templates, and how that represents like the reunion of the harmonization of those counterparts. So as we kind of all know that we've been coming into this sense of alignment of ourselves, and the alignment is finding that balance between all of our parts, all of our emotions, all of our energy, and especially right now, the one I want to really focus on is the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy balance. And by creating this balance within is how it's attracting to and towards us counterparts that are also helping us find that balance. Now, we've been doing this all along, and we've been doing it from a state of going through layers and layers and layers and layers and going, when is this going to end? and I've been saying that too. And I've actually had some really, like I was, holding back a S word there, but I've had a lot of S words lately that's I'm holding on to. I'll just share with you that to kind of bring all this home, we're needing to find some sustainability now, some support, some strength, some ability to have security and safety so that we feel this protection because we're shifting inside who we have been and who we're becoming all like at the same time, because everything has funneled in and we're on this teetering balance between even our inner masculine and inner feminine balance that we've been doing. And to do that creates that going through the layers I talked about to connect to emotions and feelings that we have suppressed or we have not expressed or we have not wanted to feel or be seen or be heard with. And this creates some real deep transparency and vulnerability to be able to be seen in these shadows and bring, illuminate light into these shadows, especially from the divine feminine side. So today I'm going to talk about three kind of components to this. And the first component we're going to talk about is the divine masculine within. And the divine masculine within is where all the divine feminine counterparts typically were carrying the heavier masculine load. And they have basically been awakened, activated, kind of went first through this ascension process to say, we are going to start to become more feminine, basically. And if we want that divine love from that counterpart, we have to be open to receiving. But as divine feminine, we have technically held up this armor around us from all of the pain, the abandonment, the layers and layers of debris that we have cleared through this ascension process that has taken us through all kinds of traumatic experiences that is within our own soul and our body now being purged, not just out of our soul anymore, but especially from the body. And I've said this many times about it's like having post-traumatic stress syndrome, and that we have been to battle And we've been to spiritual warfare here. And, personally, through the COVID experience and the traumatic experience that I experienced from an emotional trauma that went into anxiety that hit my central nervous system and my brain, that kept me up for 10 straight days to have to go through lots of different evaluations to get the right meds to help me bring and come back into my body and to bring this back into alignment with myself and reconnect my being and my body, really. It's been very traumatic on the physical side. And a lot of people are experienced through, say, the masculine side I'm talking about within that, like us as the divine feminine, are literally releasing our inner divine masculine. It took the COVID experience for me to really let that inner masculine go. And then what that's called for is a sense of all of my protection is gone, of my self-protection. But it's not really, there's a difference in protection and there's a difference in shielding and armoring. And I learned that I had armored myself my whole entire life to protect my energetic system, even from my parents being very fragmented energetically, that kept me as an empath very shielded and very guarded and disconnected. And I learned that through all of my relationships that I would guard myself on some level, even if it wasn't from a pain of a heart standpoint. It was literally protecting my energetic system. And through this process of going up in the ascension and becoming so hypersensitive to all of these emotions, these feelings, this energy. And I'm sure if you guys are going through this, let me know if you're feeling super hypersensitive. Our vibration is going up again. And so the hypersensitivity in all of this is off the charts, and has been for me, especially. So it's forced my masculine, to basically, with what I went through and the trauma, literally ripped me down to being this humble, feminine, soft, sensual self. And sensuality really represents our true path as a feminine person. And that the sensuality is what we're connecting with. It says that we know how to come into alignment with our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our vibration, our sensitivity, our ability to express what we want and what we desire, to be able to be open to receive it and to allow it in, and to have, a sense of an invitation, not protection, blocking. And there are times when we need to protect from a state of loving boundaries through this process. But I think a lot of people are starting to confuse the boundaries with the sense of an armor. And it's coming down to a fine line here between all of these parts now. This balance I'm talking about balancing this masculine and feminine within that we're talking about first here. And that divine masculine exiting for the divine feminine, it's happening in reverse now. I'm going to talk about the divine feminine within, I kind of already mentioned for the divine feminine counterpart, but let's talk about that divine feminine and divine masculine now within the divine masculine counterpart. So I'm even seeing the divine masculine counterparts. I've had more than one return in their masculine role as I have moved into my feminine role. And it's an opportunity to revisit things from the new way, to see ourselves in the polarities here. So what you have to realize is that if we're going to harmonize these relationships, it's about coming into the harmonic balance of our own polarities within. So I'm talking about here with our divine masculine within, our divine feminine within being our counterpart template within that creates a polarity within us. And those polarities can exist within us and how we operate from our masculine or feminine side at any given moment, and how we can have an experience that we're faced with in relation to the opposite gender, or I was just going to say gender energy. Okay, so masculine and feminine energy. So let's say we've moved into our divine feminine energy now. And now our counterpart template is open the space. Okay, so we're physically letting go to create a physical embodiment of release, to create a physical embodiment of allowing that counterpart to come in and fit with you within your energetic template now. Okay, that has to be the right fit. And it has to be like the connection that creates the harmonic relationship together, that you're doing this shadow dance together, because masculine or feminine energy counterparts are both having a masculine and feminine energy within that have to stay in harmonic balance to coexist in the harmonic relationship of the yin and the yang and the dance between these counterparts. And so basically, kind of like the point of what I'm trying to basically say in this, because it's really deep and really confusing, is we can have and attract, as we say as a divine feminine, let go of our masculine. We're attracting in now somebody that is in their masculine. So if you know for a fact you've really been moving into your divine feminine, and let's say you think you have, because I thought I had many times, but if you haven't hit those real, authentic, raw, real, vulnerable, transparent states, you're going to keep having counterparts or different teachers or your twin flame just keep triggering you over and over and over until you hit that authentic space within yourself that allows you to open the space to bring love in from your opposite counterpart. So that means now this embodiment of your feminine is creating, and you're letting go of your inner masculine. I literally felt like mine got ripped out of me, and it's like my blanket's gone. Now I desire the security, stability, protection, stability, sustainability that's going to root me in. And it's pulling that in more than one kind of area, but all of those areas are creating the parts that I need to kind of pull this together, and it's kind of wrapping in, and I can tell that it's kind of like right there. And if you've been in this state and sense of doubt and fear, and like you've done all this work and like you're feeling like it's coming, but you're doubting it, I want you to know this is a collective shift here. So don't give up, because it's kind of right here. And lots of people have been doing this along the way, coming into their counterpart, coming into their balance within that I'm talking about here, between these masculine and feminine energies, and then attracting their counterpart template and then harmonizing together into reunion. But as I always talk about, this is in a bandwidth. Okay, so the bandwidth is from, like not being a reunion to reunions, but it's all collective. From what we do, one of us does, we all do. So right now, we're at the pivotal point of the collective energy of harmonizing and balancing reunions. And I want to talk about that in a state of the counterpart templates and the perfect power partner that matches your template at that highest version or most feminine of yourself, that's going to then become the missing link and puzzle piece that's going to lock into where you are. All right. And one of the things that I have been done for 3 years now, at least, or going on it, like nonstop, having two counterparts hitting me from two sides, but it's all for the personal self to experience the polarity of say, I'm going to give you an example, being open to receive and setting loving boundaries. So like I would be the central neutral point trying to neutralize, and I would attract two people to come in from both sides of my needing to set a boundary and the needing to be open to receive. And typically, if you're not where you need to be, you're going to attract someone that is giving you what you want at first. So they would show up, say you need to receive. They show up needing, like offering and giving you and showing you what it's like to receive. But the harmony and the harmonic plate and the role of that flips, because what happens is typically it's giving you the opportunity to actually receive for a moment. But on the flip side of that, then that person, if they're not in balance, you just neutralized them. And what it did for them is show them that they need to set a boundary, especially if they're coming in too strong, too fast, and you're already setting boundaries. You're showing them in the mirrored reflection how to set a boundary. And so then what will happen is they may have gave to you, a lot of divine masculines have done this in their wounds, of their feminine wounds. They have gave away like so much of themselves, and done it out of guilt and have showed up in ways for a lot of karmic partners that was not able to be in their own power. So they've had to learn how to take back their power. The divine masculine has here that I'm talking about in that counterpart. So as we, the divine feminine, gave up the masculine and allowed our feminine to come in, and then also learned then how to stand in our masculine for ourselves, to stand up, show up, and speak up for ourselves. That built the collective masculine. So now the masculine counterpart is like been standing up, showing up for themselves, standing in their power, which is now shifting back to the feminine collectively, for the feminine to let down that wall, to let down that protection, to open the space, to let them in. All right. So these divine masculine beings have been healing their inner divine feminine and like taking back their power, to be in power. So as I said earlier, to bring this full circle, the divine feminine went first, and they went up in ascension, and they did it from their inner masculine. Then they were asked to connect to more of their feminine, embody that feminine, let go of their masculine, or create the strong masculine, which created a strong masculine counterpart that healed. Then they used that strong masculine counterpart to heal their inner feminine. Okay. That then brought them into balance, that now we have to let go of the masculine and step into the feminine for them to come in to connect with us from their power into our grace. Okay. That was huge. That was deep. But if you didn't get what I just said, listen to it again, because what I said was so powerful. And if you have not already got the resource of my Heal Your Wounds So You Can Take Back Your Power mirrored reflection exercise, I'm going to put a link below so you can get connected and plugged into that. And make sure you let me know, because I'm seeing a lot of reunions take place. I'm seeing a lot of chaos take place and a lot of relationships. I'm seeing counterparts show up to plug these leaks, to bring in harmony between the two. And the finite role of this coming into this harmonization is so fine as to whether it's like even actually the counterpart, or if it's the next layer or level of a counterpart. So you should really navigate this process, letting go of still attachments, letting go of outcomes, and removing labels, and letting go of faces, and realize that you're needing to attract who is going to get you to each next level. And that when you get to your highest level, that perfect counterpart template will align with you, and it will be everything that the twin flame journey is about, and then some. Because it even gets more intense as you kind of go up that ascension ladder through this process. But let me know where you're at in this twin flame dance. And I have some really exciting news I just want to share. I've talked about the twin flame oracle card deck that I have coming, that's being published by the world's largest publisher for card decks. And it is so close to going to print. And what I have to tell you is that deck for 6 years has represented every step I've made. And it also represents the actual coming into alignment, full alignment with yourself, and that you being the oracle now, and that you then align and ready for your partner, basically. And it came ready to go to print for my approval. There was some glitches in this exact thing I'm telling you about what the oracle was, what the image was, what the cover was, what the point was, what that point represented from my state of this oneness and wholeness of the embodiment of stepping into a full alignment and being that oracle and being the person in balance to do this. And they missed the part of the images that represented this. And so I've been reading and proofing that book, going back through all of this process of this entire journey just in the last couple days. And reading it from a whole new state and realizing all these stages of where I'm at a whole new level. And I wrote this 2 years ago, and it's been in the publisher's hand, and it got backed up with COVID, but it's happening. And this deck, every step of the way, I've lived it in truth, that it's where I am and where the collective is. And this deck is going to be launching soon, which also shows me that it's in alignment with this collective tip. And it's going to, because it's what the whole deck represents. So stay tuned. And, you know, if you're interested in the deck in the future, please put give me a message below. I'll actually pin a post and put your name in that, so that or you know who you are, even an email address. I'll add you to the email address for the launch, because I'm going to be launching it. So why don't, if that's a good point, just came through, put your email in that, and I'll add you to my email list for the launch if you're interested in that deck. Okay, sending you guys so much love, peace, harmony, and may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.